Be the actual production video for Laughing Jacob. Yeah, you can chime in whenever. Actual production video for Laughing Jacob. Just walked it with the county, tidied everything up, got paint on the ground. So there's going to be orange dashed paint as we go for root barrier. There will be marks for start and stops of the 5 patches we have. And then there will be a pink dotted line where we have a significant trail shift. There will be 2 other slight trail shifts Mark will touch on when we get there. But here we go. So this is the access point we have. It's from the south end of this trail. This is our access point. So there's the trail we're backing down, and we have a 6-inch curb and sidewalk monolithic here. So we're gonna have to build up with some dunnage or some asphalt, back our trucks in. This will also be our staging area, so we'll have to have cones here, some sort of flagging operation, whether it be temporary or the entire time. It'll probably be most of the time once we get to the end of the trail. But here we go. So trail access point, starting with root barrier only on the left. Root barrier continues through tiny patch number 1 and ends at the end of patch number 1. So root barrier ends, patch number 1 is this little tiny guy. And we got another section of root barrier here around the corner where there's this massive tree. They also said they're not going to be sticklers on where the root barrier is located. It's not a firm 2 feet off the edge of the trail. We can put it right up against the edge of the trail if that makes more sense for us, as long as we recess the root barrier down into the ground 1/4 inch. Now we're coming up to patch number 2. Patch number 2 starts. There's no root barrier on either side to the start. And then as we come up here, right at this rock to the left, the path is going to shift to the left to get away from these trees on the right, and the root barrier will be on the right. So the path is shifting with the pink paint, basically tying the rock into the post sign down there.
Okay, here, stop right now.
Okay, so we had a point that we wanted to make, which was the pink dash line is the edge of our trail. So as we're excavating, we're going to go 1 foot 18 inches out of that, just so we don't have a sharp wall going down to our asphalt. So we're going to have to bump some of that back as we excavate. And there's going to be tree root barrier on the right side here where the orange dash line is, where the trail is existing now, but will not be once we shift it. So we'll just mark the pink line, then measure off that for the other end of the trail, and then have our root barrier down. And this is why we shifted for these trees that are actually in the trail now. So from this sign, it slowly ties back into this natural cut line in the dirt here, and then it follows that. It's gradual here at the end because these trees are off a couple feet. Root barrier continues to the very end of the patch, which is where the transition starts. There, got a pink paint tied back in. End of patch number 2. Tiny little break here, and we start patch number 3. So this is patch number 3. Root barrier starts just after this critical area sign. Bing. And now Mark's going to talk about how this slightly shifts.
Okay, so basically, the path is about 1 foot off of this rock wall. When we pave it back, we're going to have a slow transition from the beginning to this corner of the rock wall, and then we'll pave existing path width, which is around 10.5, 11, from the rock wall inward. So essentially, the path's going to shift about 1 foot that way in this rock wall area.
And we're doing that to get away from these trees and these county guys making videos. And then we put our root barrier here up against these trees. And then the path ties back in here at the end of the rock wall.
Now,
root barrier continues.
There will be an arborist on site during every minute of our root barrier installation. So if there's some gnarly trees, roots, or something like that that we encounter, at least we'll have somebody there to tell us what to do about it.
Correct. So now we got picking up on the left side here, right when we get to this other rock wall that's back further towards the fence. Start root barrier again. Hopefully all this paint will still be here. Our root barrier on the right ends at this critical area sign. Root barrier on the left continues. to the end of the patch.
And about at this spot right here, we're trying to shift the pathway just at this corner.
Oh yeah,
Starting
second
about
shift.
Here, we're going to gradually come about 2 feet, shifting the path, and then come back in.
We just want to get off of this tree, so we'll come out here a little further, loop it back in, and then here we'll be a little further away and loop it back out. And that's at the end of patch number 3. Okay, then another short break, and we have patch number 4. So patch number 4, root barrier on the right side only.
Nope,
at the start. And then when we get to this mongoloid tree right here, we start root barrier on the left also. Continue that down. Root barrier on the right ends just at this critical area sign is where the right ends. The left continues up to the edge of the patch, 20 feet shy of the bridge that we do not cross. We can cross it with the skid steer, and that's how we're gonna access what we can from this side, because it's way more friendly. This side that we're walking towards, but we'll have to access most of it. All trucks and everything will not go across this bridge. So from patch number 2 on is all being accessed from that neighborhood. Now, patch number 1 and this little bollard patch we have gets access from the end, which is right up here. I'll talk about that in a second. But there you go, there's the bridge. So here's patch number 1.
No, this is 5.
Oh, 5.
This is patch 5.
Sorry, patch 5. First one over the bridge. Simple, no root barrier, just picking up that transition that's gnarly. And then root barrier on its own on the right for 5 feet, and then on its left, on the left also. There's 2 stretches on the left, so it goes for a little ways, and then it ends right here. This one on the right continues 138 feet. The one on the left has a 20-foot section back there, and this is a 32-foot section starting just before this tree, continuing down past the tree to about right there, about even with that fence post. Then we got the bollard. So what's happening with the bollard is that existing steel bollard is going bye-bye. It's going in the garbage. We're gonna get a new aluminum bollard from the county that's gonna go where this dot is, which is 10 or 15 feet back. So that's where the new bollard is going to sit. We're gonna have 2 new wooden bollards on the outside of the trail like we did at Sue's Creek, with the new one in the middle. Once we remove that, we're gonna cut a patch, tiny little patch around this, and we're gonna R&R it. So real quick, here's the other access that is much more friendly. This is where we were all parking for the pre-con, but they got a huge shoulder. It's a big, empty, nice road. So whatever we can, we're gonna park here. Another thing to realize, the address is really tricky to find here. So right there, we have 232nd Avenue Southeast and Southeast 42nd Street where they cross. And then right here, this sign shows 230th way southeast, Southeast 42nd. So we'll try to get you an accurate address. But there we go.